Ha! Yes. Alright. I'm gonna go shut that closet. Okay. Alright, so it is Wednesday. It is April 8th. So, interestingly enough, today is my aunt's birthday. So, happy birthday, Aunt Dorothy. Oh, shoot. She's the youngest of my mom's sisters. But, anywho's, so today kind of been something funny or something weird while kind of waiting for Facebook to pop the notification up for people that we are live so they may join us. I have, over the last almost 2 years, been very, very, very slowly learning German. And I do like the little Duolingo thing, and I do like a lesson a day because it's very achievable for me. But apparently I've gotten to the point where I'm just so consistent with doing something in German that some of my like automatic results and some of my like little Facebook advertisements are starting to show up in German. And I'm like, I kind of sort of know what it's saying, and that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, I like learning. I like learning new things and just challenging myself. And it's nice to learn a little language in snippets. I did 2 years of Spanish in high school and never really grasped onto it. Again, probably because I wasn't in a great place when I was in high school. But yeah. So, anyways, so there are a couple updates that are going to be posted to Hancock Helps, if not already posted. So one of them I do want to mention is the Visit Findlay link. So if you're in Findlay, you're in Hancock County, you're looking for kind of what businesses are open, what businesses are doing kind of curbside pickup, what restaurants, all that kind of stuff are still open, and what are some things that you can do, but do safely here in the county. I would encourage you to visit visitfinley.com. So we're going to make sure that that's linked up on Hancock Helps. So as we kind of keep approaching this time of where we're staying at home and, we've got a few weeks left, no biggie. We'll get through this together. You can kind of check out some of those different things to do. I know the parks are doing some pretty cool things. Findlay and Hancock County is really very fortunate to have a lot of really cool parks. And so, I've heard there were some park district officers, dressing up in their, 1842 gear and whatnot, or kind of taking on nature walks and kind of telling you, what to look out for and what to watch for as you're going around the parks. I know I myself got out to Oakwoods Park the other day. Took a little jaunt around. It was so nice. It was actually the first time I'd ever been there. I'd been wanting to check that out for 2 years. So finally got the opportunity to do that. Really loved it. It's gorgeous. So definitely encourage you to get out, get some nature, get some sunshine, check out the parks, maintain that good physical distance between yourself and other people so we can do so safely and responsibly and get through all of this quickly. So just those are a couple updates for you. If you're watching the beginning of this and you don't get to the end, couple quick recovery things going on. One, focus, we're going to be launching some more online opportunities to engage and some more kind of like online programming starting tomorrow, which is Thursday. But then also kind of like going like full on next week. We're going to have some really cool options surrounding music and art and photography and just different ways to engage. So keep an eye out for that. We'll have our open recovery meeting at 4 o'clock today. And then there's also Lifeboat NA. We'll meet tonight at 7. And if, those things aren't your jam or, it's a little bit later, there's also going to be a statewide meditation for the recovery community at 7:30 tonight. So we're going to be hosting a watch party on our Facebook page so you can access that as well. So definitely would encourage you to check those options out. Okay, gotta silence my notifications. I keep forgetting that part. Okay, so definitely check out those cool things going on at 4 and at 7 and at 7:30. So today we're going to start with gratitude. Definitely want to extend that gratitude out to the universe, because what you put out there comes back to you in some way, shape, or form. So what I am grateful for today is that I'm grateful for having an electronic device, aka my phone, that has a pretty sweet camera on it. And I say that because it allows me to capture the little moments in life that make me smile. It allows me to capture beautiful things. Like there was a beautiful sunset last night, and so I was able to capture that in a photograph and then share that experience with other people. And that was really cool. 20 years ago, that wasn't a thing. Like, you reserved pictures or for, very kind of more special occasions. And, it wasn't something that you could take 50 pictures a day and, do that sustainably and share them so quickly. So I'm really grateful for have that kind of connection to be able to share those moments and those snapshots. And then I love that, when I'm feeling kind of down or stressed or whatnot, that I can go back into my pictures and I can look at the good times and the moments that bring me joy and brought me beauty and brought me happiness. And that helps me in that moment to remember those things and to kind of go back to those moments and revisit that. So very grateful for the ability to take lots of pictures, especially lots of pictures of cows and my child and cats and dogs and nature. Flowers, I take a lot of pictures of flowers. All right. Okay, so today's recovery check-in, we're going to talk about kind of some transformational things. Because something that we're noticing is that kind of as we get into this, it kind of feels like we're in a mid slump. And unslumping yourself is quite difficult sometimes. And, so sometimes there's a feeling of frustration that can come with that. And, so we're gonna talk about that self-transformation today. And, I know and I realize a lot of people out there are struggling. And, there's also a lot of people out there who might be engaging in some not so great coping more so than they ever did before. Alcohol sales have gone up in the state of Ohio and really across the nation throughout this whole thing. That's of concern to me. That's of concern, I think, to a lot of people who are in recovery. And, I don't know what that's going to mean for us on the other side of this, but I want to bring that to your attention, that throughout this, you might find yourself engaging in some type of crappy coping, for whatever reason. And that can be frustrating. That can put you on a different trajectory in your recovery journey, in your journey of life, if you will. So let's talk about that self-transformation. Let's talk about how we kind of overcome, how we kind of, what that looks like. I don't know. We're going to talk it out. Just so you know, I don't ever really actually plan these. I just kind of talk out and verbally process stuff with y'all. So I know sometimes, and some people have approached me with some frustration that they're not farther in maybe their recovery than they would like, or recently found themselves engaging in maybe more drinking or smoking. And when I say smoking, it includes cigarettes, or problematic eating, or maybe, some type of other way of acting out, whether that be with gambling or sex or self-harm of some sort. That people are engaging in that just a little bit more, and that brings with that frustration of before this public health crisis hit, they're on a roll and they were doing really good and things were trucking along, and then all of a sudden, something happens. Life happens, the world happens, stress happens, and we find ourselves no longer coping, and it's why am I not farther? Why am I not over there yet? And so I want to challenge you to take that frustration. If you're someone that's feeling that frustration, take that frustration and turn that into fuel to push yourself farther. And then start taking a good hard look at your life and what you're doing and what that looks like. So when you are on this journey of transformation, when you are on a journey of trying to not engage in some type of crappy coping anymore, whatever that might be for you, when you're trying to show up as a better human being, there's kind of these phases that you go through, and it's not like in all things recovery, it's not like a linear, like smooth, smooth track up kind of process. It can be roundabout. So I'm going to kind of like go through some of these, but it doesn't necessarily have to occur in this sequence. So one of the very first steps that you take when you find that either you're not where you want to be or you're embarking on that journey of very courageous change, it starts with that self-awareness. Okay? Self-awareness of kind of what is going on in your life. What are you actually doing? And when you're looking at that, look at the ways that you're harming yourself. A lot of negative coping skills, and a lot of the conversations and support conversations I've had with folks recently have surrounded around that concept of self-injury. Engaging in that negative coping as a form of self-harm. Whether that is because you don't feel like you're good enough, you got a lot of past stuff going on, the situation of the world is maybe kind of reactivating that stress response in you. But in what ways are you hurting yourself, whether that be physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually? In what ways are you doing things that prevent you from showing up as the person you want to be? And so sometimes a way to identify these things is, kind of what are the things that you maybe beat yourself up about afterwards? Say you go through that McDonald's drive-through and you order, 3 giant cheeseburgers and you eat them all in 30 seconds, and then in the next 2 minutes you're in your head beating yourself up over that because you know that wasn't a great choice for you. You know that you're eating your emotions. So look at what are the things that you kind of beat yourself up. What are the things that you give yourself a very hard time about? Because chances are those are the things that you're using to harm your being in some way, shape, or form. And those might be the things that you need to start looking at and addressing, as hard as it might be. So starts with that awareness. Starts with really taking a very hard, very honest look at your behavior. So your behavior, your thoughts, your emotions, your interactions with other people. Looking at all of those aspects, all right? Because you can harm yourself with your thoughts. Like if you talk to yourself negatively, your body remembers that. You're a complicated houseplant with emotions that may or may not eat meat. So you need to talk to that houseplant with kindness, but we'll get there. So kind of bottom of that pyramid, it starts with that self-awareness bit. Looking at the ways that you're harming yourself. And then it moves into taking that information, taking that knowledge, and taking that opportunity, because you now know better, to do better, to do some self-exploration. Like, what are the thoughts? What are the feelings? What is the purpose behind that kind of crappy coping? Okay, so let's go back to the cheeseburgers. I don't know why cheeseburgers today, but that's what we're going to use. So you eat those 3 really giant triple stack cheeseburgers. I don't know if that's even a thing. Okay, but you eat those big cheeseburgers and you're beating yourself up about it. What were the thoughts that you had before you ordered those cheeseburgers? Was it that you were really freaking dinking hungry? Or was it that you were experiencing some type of negative emotion? What kind of purpose did those cheeseburgers serve? Did eating those cheeseburgers all at once kind of serve the purpose to kind of soothe your soul and make you feel better in the instant? Were you looking for that kind of like quick fix to make you feel better right now? And cheeseburgers do that because they get to that bottom part of the brain. Is that what you were looking for? Were you looking for that? Were you trying to handle some type of negative emotion that you don't have the words for? You didn't have the words for? Was it that you got into an argument with somebody that's close to you, a friend, a family member, a partner, a spouse, or whatever? Explore the thoughts, the feelings, and the purpose behind that crappy coping, whatever it might be. And again, this takes that level of hard honesty, but it's so worth it. So we start with self-awareness, then we move to self-exploration. And then the next step is that self-understanding, because you take that information about the thoughts and the feelings and the purpose behind that crappy coping skill, and you try to figure out the why. What is the why behind that? So what is that base, maybe assumption or base belief that you have that may not be accurate, that keeps leading you down that road? Is it that you feel vulnerable? Is it that you feel scared? Is it that you think that you are not good enough or worthy enough of eating a salad instead of 3 cheeseburgers? Whatever that might be. But really kind of embracing that why. And then that helps you to move into a point of self-love. We've talked before in other recovery check-ins about that compassionate acceptance of yourself. And then within that comes that transformation, comes that awesome transformative piece where you're able to embrace all of yourself. The good, the bad, the indifferent, the sideways, the weird, the awesome, the magnificent, the strange, the whatever. Embracing all of you, all right? Because when you move through those kinds of steps, and again, it may not happen like kind of in a linear trajectory, when you move through that, when you're able to get to that point where you can embrace all of yourself, then you can also start putting really good other good healthy coping skills in place instead of crappy coping skills. So you've went through that process of figuring out, what are the ways that you're harming either your body, your mind, your heart, your spirit. You figured out the thoughts, the feelings, the purpose behind that. You figured out the why, perhaps, and maybe you haven't. But you've moved to this place of trying to accept yourself and accept all of yourself and express who you completely are. Then you can go through that same process when you're trying to replace that behavior with something meaningful, with something more positive for you. So instead of the cheeseburgers, okay, we're gonna like walk through that whole thing with something positive. So instead of cheeseburgers, now we're going to shift into, what you want to replace that crappy coping with. All right. So you're going to have some self-awareness, and you're going to figure out what are the things that you actually like to do. Now that you've become a little bit more acquainted with yourself and who you are, what do you like to do? Do you like to do art? Do you like to talk to people? Do you like to go on nature walks? Do you like to do yoga? Do you like to work out? What is that? Do you like to sit in your car and jam out to some freaking good music? What is that thing? Okay. So let's say, we take the music. We decide music's going to be our replacement, our great replacement for a crappy coping of 3 cheeseburgers at once. And then you explore behind that. You take the same thoughts, the same emotions, that same purpose. Say you're looking for that quick fix for stress. And you're going to find that music, that playlist, that song, whatever, that makes you feel like you're on top of the world and you are badass. And you're going to play that. You're going to replace that, find that same purpose, find a song or songs that help you cope with that same kind of emotion. Me, I'm the person, if I'm feeling sad, I need to listen to sad music. So I have like a sad playlist and an angry playlist and a happy playlist. And like, that's what I know I need to do. So I have that self-awareness. So I take it and explore those thoughts, explore those feelings and the purpose that I need it to serve. And I put that in place in a positive way. Okay. And then that helps me with that self-understanding, which helps me to figure out my why of why am I engaging on this perhaps vulnerable journey of self-transformation, of change, of, being able to show up as a human being that I want to be. Because when I know that why, I can see my vision of where I want to be and how I want to move forward, and it makes it so much easier to make that happen, to make that come into reality. All right. And then that why, knowing that and having that self-understanding then prompts, again, more of that self-love, more of that compassionate acceptance of myself, because I know that I've taken good steps to replace crappy coping with a healthier skill that I know that I have and I know that I can practice. And that, again, helps you embrace all of yourself and lead you on that journey of superstellar self-transformation. All right, so that was self-transformation in like 20 minutes. All right, but so, those are just some steps that you can apply either to help you examine maybe what ways you're not coping super well right now, but also help you put into place other skills and other abilities that you have to cope more healthily. So if you're looking for some maybe other tools or other ways or coping strategies, definitely, feel free to reach out. We're here for you. We will, and if, you're needing something, we're happy to connect you with people that do know. So reach out, give us a call, send us a Facebook message, whatever you might need. There's tons of agencies and resources that are here in town, so we at Focus, we're still here for you. NAMI's still here for you. Family Resource Center is still doing services. A Renewed Mind still doing services. There's tons of people that are still there and able to help you on your journey of self-transformation so you can show up as the best human being you can possibly be in your life, because that is a really cool thing. And so those are some little tidbits. If you have any suggestions or any ideas of things that you'd like us to cover in future recovery check-ins, please holler. Otherwise, check out the open recovery meeting at 4. There is a NA meeting. Lifeboat is tonight at 7. And then there's also a state-ride meditation at 7:30 if that's your jam too. So check those things out. Even though we have to be physically distant, we can still stay connected in some ways, shapes, and forms. And so stay positive, spread some kindness, spread some love today. And in the meantime, keep your hearts and minds resilient. And I will see all of you wonderful people tomorrow for our recovery check-in at noon. Have a wonderful, maybe a little bit weird, Wednesday.